Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm Maya Tusi and this is Tusi TV and your first live update of the day. Let's talk about what's been going on in the United States of America. The whole thing's completely kicking off. The Secret Service is in turmoil. There's been a couple of investigations to start over the local police as well as of course Secret Service and everybody else as well, FBI getting involved. And in this video we're going to give you guys all the updates. All right, let's talk about the GOP's oversight committee in the House. What they've decided to do is to get their top people to sign a joint letter to start the investigation into what exactly happened on the 13th of July. And of course, in terms of the consequences and everything else, one thing that the investigation is actually aiming to do is to get transparencies, to get all the messages, all the communications, all the correspondence, everything that was happening beforehand that was exchanged, to see if they can find out whether this failure was simply based on incompetence or whether some people inside the system wanted this to happen for whatever reason. Let's talk about this letter that obviously they have now signed last night, and there are a few points, the bullet points that they've decided to include to essentially, on behalf of the House and the Oversight Committee, to make sure that the media also are aware that what sort of mechanism is going to be used against the system, let's just say, especially when it comes to Secret Service. All right. Of course, if you're watching this live, we'll get your reaction in the live chat as usual as well. Number one, a complete list of all law enforcement personnel, including Secret Service, Department of Homeland Security, and local law enforcement with roles in protecting President Trump at the campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, including, but not limited to, the advancing. So that's just obviously that everybody involved to see to be able to identify them. All audio and video recordings in Secret Service's possession or custody related to President Trump's campaign rally in Butler. So anything that they have that they filmed themselves. Any memorandum or notice issued by the director to Secret Service personnel regarding the Butler, Pennsylvania assassination attempt on President Trump. The reason they're pushing this forward is because on the 22nd of July, a few days from now, next week, we're going to have the actual hearing. The chief of Secret Service is refusing to resign, but of course will have to attend the hearing and of course give evidence and find out exactly what's been going on. But this list continues. We also request the following information be produced no later than the 29th of July. Okay. All documents and communications related to the Secret Service protection for President Trump's campaign rally, including but not limited to any pre-site survey identifying security concerns, mitigation of security concerns, and monthly Office of Protective Operations report as well. All internal documents and communications, including text messages and emails between Secret Service and of course Homeland Security related to the rally. And finally, all documents and communications, including text messages and emails between Secret Service and the local police. So obviously the main group in between all these branches is Secret Service because they're on the ground. But a lot of people, I'm going to show you a clip again from the day, because there's another problem with there are a few problems with why that building specifically and the rooftop was completely ignored, despite the fact that there was a ladder located right next to it and there was a police car. Could see the ladder. Nobody apparently cared. Now, they also said all communications, text messages among Secret Service personnel as well, among themselves as well. So obviously Secret Service and Homeland Security, Secret Service and local police, and Secret Service among themselves. All maps and obviously all the different views and diagrams in possession of but obviously in custody of the Secret Service of the rally. Make sure you know what they had. All remote surveillance data, including but not limited to drones, listening devices, remote cameras, and satellites used for the rally as well. And of course, they've signed that letter. One of the reasons we are saying this is obviously over the last few days, we have been giving guys all the evidence that we had and everything that's been already exposed, but there's more to it. The local police came out to say that the building where the gunman, Thomas Crook, crooks scrambled onto the roof and opened fire was the staging area for the local police tactical team doing overwatch of the crowd. You see, because a lot of people were wondering, as I said, it was not really a busy urban metropolitan area. It was just like 3 or 4 tiny buildings and rooftops that you could just check, right? And that one was empty. There was a ladder next to it, but when Thomas Crooks was going on top of it, people saw it 2-3 minutes in advance, tried to warn the police and Secret Service. Nothing happened until last second. But now they're saying that that rooftop was supposed to be used. It was supposed to be occupied. Where did they go? And who were they? That's why it's part of this letter that obviously the Oversight Committee, the Republicans, have signed and written. One of the main points, actually the first point, is actually one of the most important ones. A complete list of all law enforcement personnel, Secret Service, Homeland Security, local police. That way we can find out where they were supposed to be and why were the police officers who were supposed to be on that rooftop, why were they not there? But then they say it was a staging area. And then they said, well, we weren't supposed to be there. And then they can't say it was just for practice before, to check before the event. And then they said, no, we were supposed to be there during the event. They changed their stories so many times. That's why it's important to talk about this. That's why, obviously, when you look at this video, they said that people saw it. There were a lot of eyewitnesses. And apparently there were a couple of law enforcement officers who were aware. Why did it take so long? And forget about the sniper issues, because the new excuse is that the main sniper, the guy who actually then took some shots, they've said that he claims, I was ready, but I didn't receive the order to actually shoot.
Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that shot. That shot's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
So seconds before, and not by seconds, I'm not saying 5 seconds, like about 30 to 45 seconds before, there was activity. Activity was happening already on the ground, slowly, by security and everybody else. But again, there has to be a part of the letter that they've said. One of the reasons the full list of the personnel is important is to find out where everybody was supposed to be located. That's one. Second one, which is very important, is communication, which they had on, I think it was the second point or third point, was the second point, all audio and video recordings, because that would show the actual communications between, for example, the sniper and the command, to see why. Did he actually say, I can see the guy, should I take him out? Did he actually say that? Or is he lying, the sniper? Or did he say, and the command decided not to, obviously he has to get the order. He can't just randomly do it. He has to get the order. Did he actually notice it first? Did he tell? And was he waiting for the order? Or did he not even tell anybody until the last second? So the communication matters because of that, because the sniper on his own can't go rogue anyway. You have to make sure that you communicate it with your supervisors and the command, but the responsibility should be obviously on the ground, and of course those who are giving the order. Unless obviously the shot has been taken, then in self-defense you have to take him out, which he ended up doing anyway. What's the reaction from you guys? Super chat from Mike saying, I'm still of the opinion that this was organized by the CIA, as Donald said some time ago, that he would come for them. If not, it was Hillary and Obama. Mike and his nicknames. Keith, thank you very much, Mr. Lawton, for another regular generous super chat. And Barbara Davis saying, all audio and video recordings. I wonder how many get lost or malfunction. I mean, even for tiny cases, there's a lot of, let's just say, missing audio and video. Remember a few months ago with Tommy Robinson, after he was arrested for having breakfast in London, and when he was pepper sprayed, that moment, somehow, that few seconds, the police officers' body cams were not working. The footage was just gone missing. And I love how nobody actually did anything about it afterwards. Obviously, Tommy won that case. But there has been no investigation, no real, and they say we're going to do a review. We're going to learn from mistakes. I don't think that was a mistake. How can all the footage go missing during a certain period of time? Massive coincidence. Nina, thank you for your super chats. It did look suspicious. I mean, it could be a series of coincidental incompetence, but surely somebody did something, whether it's from law enforcement or FBI, Secret Service. There's so many different branches, so it's not black and white. It's not always CIA, and it's not always directly CIA. There could be proxies as well. It could be anybody, but we'll have to see if they could actually get to the bottom of this. The rules of engagement are different from any other country, on the planet. They don't need to call it in if they perceive an immediate threat. But that's what I said. Immediate threat is different, but beforehand he has to call it in. That's always been a practice of even the FBI have been told to always do that. Unless there's an immediate threat in the moment, then you just take him out. Otherwise, you have to actually do the actual communication because of the bureaucracy over the last, I think, about 40 years. They've decided to basically make it even more bureaucratic for checks and balances to make sure that, you know, afterwards, when there is an investigation, they have the evidence. But again, things have changed since the days of towards the end of the Cold War days and now. Alexander says security service has everything: trans, gay, women with eggs, women without eggs. But they forgot about guarding. Well, it's kind of on an unrelated note technically, but it's still kind of related because it's one of the main issues that we had when it came to the issue of the Secret Service was also about, for example, this human. If I could bring this on the screen for you guys, as you've seen this already before, and we have talked about the team that Trump had on the day. Compare it to last night at the convention. The Secret Service officers were they were very different. They were very strong and tall and male. But this woman on the left, and actually the other one on the right hand as well. This what happens when you do DEI and, you know, diversity and equality and inclusion nonsense recruitment. But on this topic, while it's unrelated, but it's still the same topic because it's the same problem happening everywhere in the Western world, especially in the US, is that we've just got the breaking news about half an hour ago that Microsoft have decided to fire their entire internal DEI department. The whole team have been sacked. And I love how we only just got that alert. That's it. That's all we know about the Microsoft things. We don't know the details. They haven't actually explained it in full. Something clearly has happened in Microsoft that we haven't obviously been told properly, that they decided to sack the whole internal DEI team and department. So I'm going to keep an eye on that story as well to see why that happened. Clearly some sort of scandal was already building up and cooking that decided to contain the situation. Amazing in Fiction, thank you for your super chat saying CIA, Secret Service, they did it, they know it. There you go, there could always be proxies because, you know, it's not always CIA as in the public institution in CIA. They have a lot of hidden sub-departments inside and outside of the proxies, and that also, because they could that way, they even abroad when they do operations, that's how they cover themselves as well. Joseph says, God, good help, God help. I think it's God. Is it God or good? I want to say God. God help us in England, yeah. From Labour and the Muslims, they're shipping in by the thousands every day. Please, FFS, someone make them stop. Seems like this government will not be able to do it, but we do actually have a quick update after this one when we take a quick break. When we come back in about half an hour or so, I'm going to tell you what the Americans are doing, and we could learn a lot from Americans at times. And by Americans, I'm not talking about Biden, but I'm talking about the GOP and President Trump's team, because they have some new ideas to tackle this problem. Derek says, Maya, there's already people analyzing all video and triangulating positions via sight and sound. It's an online whodunit, isn't it? So, yeah, I mean, there's already been a few good examples of people who put all the footage from different angles together. And I have shared it on X, but it's more than that. That simply shows the lack of action or lack of urgency. What we need to find out, and of course, as we said, the whole point of this letter, and of course the GOP oversight committee that they've written this letter is to get the info that we can't find by just watching the footage filmed on iPhones. It's the list of the personnel, it's the actual audio video recordings by the authorities, by the local police and secret service. It's those things that we don't have access to now, and these guys want to get access to actually analyze it on behalf of the House, and then they can find out probably more. But if there's going to be anything missing or any sort of corrupt footage or whatever, then of course they have to ask more questions. But the media, it's also the job of the media now, all the liberal ones, including CNBC and CNN, they have to be pushed by the Republicans to continue the coverage. Because by the time these guys get their response from Secret Service and all the others, it's going to be end of July. They said you have until 29th of July to respond to this. And of course, the hearing that we're going to have with the chief of Secret Service will be on the 22nd of July. But if the media finds some distraction and start talking about some nonsensical news story on the day, then not many people are going to find out. Obviously, new media outlets will be there in the US. There's so many of them covering this, obviously from the UK on 2CTV. We will be on top of it because it's something what's affecting America, and the whole Trump issue is affecting the whole of the Western world. This is the stability of the Western world in general, and we have to know what is going on around us. Let's take a quick break. We're going to come back in about 20 minutes, half an hour, with more updates on Trump and Vance, because it's getting exciting. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Maya 2C, and we are the media.